My name is Mike Sadler, and I've spent my life with cars. Whether it's sand dunes and drag strips, museums, car shows, even the backyard garage, I'm always on the lookout for speed and shine. Hey, welcome to the 4th episode of Speed and Shine. We are going to head out to the American One sale and visit with our friends at Huff's, and we're going to look at a vehicle that I really want and a whole lot of people want, and that's the new Ford Bronco. And now that it's the dead of winter, you may not have a car project or any other project, but let's face it, your garage itself is a project. So we're going to cover some garage safety tips. And in the last few episodes, we've shown you some really unique vehicles. This week, we're going to head out to Eaton Rapids and we're going to look at some really beautiful cars that you'll find on the drag strip. Today we're in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. I actually found some rapids, and we're here for their Wednesday night weekly cruise-in. 3-4 square blocks of downtown, surrounded by a river, and hundreds of people show up to show off their cars, hang out, and have a great time. Barney, what a great looking car.
Thank you.
Tell us what it is.
It's a pro-streeted 62 Nova. It's been a race car since 1963. I bought it with 12,000 original miles on it, but unfortunately they're all a quarter mile at a time. Spent 2 years putting it back the way it is now. So it was kind of a beat up race car when I bought it, but it was a good solid start for a pro street car.
I see you've done a lot of work here in the rear end there.
Yeah, that's all polished aluminum. Some of it's leftover race car stuff, some of it I've done. So I've redone the car from front to back.
It's a fuel cell?
Yeah, it's got a fuel cell here, but it's also got one underneath. It's got 2 fuel cells in it.
Okay.
And that way, because this one, it gets like 6 miles, 5 miles a gallon. So if you're going to drive it very far, you got to have a lot of gas.
Right. And you got some really big tires on the back
there. They're 18-inch wide Hoosiers.
And the spoiler here?
Yeah, I made that. That's a wing that I made. It had a wing on it when I bought it, but it also had a fiberglass trunk, and I didn't like it, so I put a steel trunk on it, made a new wing, made the struts. I worked in a machine shop, so I have all the goodies to do stuff with.
Right,
so.
right. So I guess with all this, there must be something up front that requires all this, right?
Yeah, a little bit of something. Big black Chevy, it's 468 cubic inches. That's a 671 Dyer's blower. At the flywheel, it put out 720 horsepower, and that's underdriven 8%, 7% underdriven on the blower. So there's more there, but I never race this, just a street toy, so I just run it the way it is. It's got a 2-speed power glide transmission in it. It's still got the trans brake, line lock, still got all the race car stuff on it. So it's a handful.
And that's probably why you got it looks like a full roll cage in there. And
yeah, it's roll cage. I got the sidebars out. They're removable, and so it's easier for an old guy to get in and out of this with the sidebars out. But
sure.
Yeah, they're.
Did you do the aluminum work in the back too?
Yeah.
So how much of this have you done yourself? All of it?
All of it.
Beautiful.
I painted it. I did the suspension, everything I done myself. The motor came with the car, and everything from there on I put together, and it's got a 9-inch forward and rear end in it, and I've taken the gear out, put a more street-worthy gear in it. So yeah, it's got coilovers all the way around, so pretty much from front to back.
And you just basically take it to cruising like
Yeah,
this?
take cruising, yeah.
I mean, you can't really roll down the highway, right?
It does. It'll go down the highway fine, but it gets really bad mileage and it gets really hot inside. So I have an enclosed car trailer that I take it to. I pull it behind me and take it to car shows. Yeah.
And I take it you don't really drag race it then?
I raced it a couple times when I first got it just to see what it would do, but it's wicked fast, and it needed slicks and it didn't have them, so you know I wasn't real successful at it, but it was a thrill. So I raced when I was a kid. I raced all over Onondaga Dragway all the time. So, but yeah, it's just a toy.
So, I mean, you really can't just really get on it all the way on the street, right?
You can, but it's all over the place. You better hang on because it wants to go from one side to the other.
Sure.
But yeah, you can get on it. You can. I've scared people with it.
Oh, I bet.
So, yeah,
I bet.
It's just. But it stays cool. I can ride around this thing all day if I want to. It never gets over 185 degrees. So.
You ever blow through town kind of quick, making noise so it sets off all the alarms?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I try to abide the law in this town. I've lived here all my life. They know who I am, so I can't run away. So no.
All right. Greg, what a beautiful car.
Well, thank you. It's a true SS 454. It's a 1971. Pretty much the stock motor that came into this car. It's got a roller cam in it, solid lifter, just Samgiano heads, fuel injection. Got about a 780 lift roller cam in it. Runs pretty good. The fuel injection, supercharged, your Pro Charger hit about 10 pounds of boost, about 6,500 RPM. Just dynoed at just under 700 horsepower at the back wheels.
Well, that's not any factory horsepower.
No, it's not factory horsepower. Runs nice and cool. Everything's set right.
How long have you owned this?
I've had it about 4 years now. I bought it from a Fowlerville garage sale. But it's that's how I got it. I saw it on a garage sale and I bought it.
Garage sale. But
it's,
you've done quite a bit yourself.
Oh yeah,
here
I
under the car.
Put completely everything it's done on it.
Right. So what else have you?
Well, it's actually put a Detroit locker rear end in it. It's 373 gears with Mauser's axles. I got a turbo 400 with a trans brake, just manual valve body. It's pretty much just set up. 30-inch tires.
And I liked it, the interior. I want to say saddle, but that's probably not the right color.
It is what it is. It's saddle. It's a dark saddle.
It really sets off with the red. You know, so often it'd be either black or white.
Yep. And originally it was a black interior.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay. So you chose this?
No, I bought it with the beige interior in it. I kept the shifter how it is. It goes a little too fast with a drag strip. They've never let me go down it with what it's got.
Sure. But yeah, the interior, that color really.
But it's turnkey now. Good. Everything's just. It's still got 1971 brakes on it, so
disc brakes, drum rear.
Yeah, disc and drums. Yep.
Really, the factory ones, huh?
Yep. All been redone.
Sure.
The car sat for about 20 years, I would say, before I got a hold of it.
Well, it's in excellent shape.
Oh, I don't know how the guy stored it, but he just did a perfect job to it.
Now, to get those larger tires, did they tub that or?
No, it's I got them in there.
You got them in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can feel it's a pretty tight little space right here.
Yeah, that's real close.
Yep, but they don't grow when you hole shot this. They don't grow. Right. They don't do anything.
That's close. That'd make me nervous.
Yeah. But I redid the complete interior back here. That took a few weeks. Yep. Took all new seals in it. It's all factory. It's got the factory jack. It's got everything all just how it was.
Did you have to touch up the
I did all new everything. Yes, I did all that new paint.
Great job.
I put a backup camera in it.
Yeah.
So that's in my mirror up there. So it's a little retro mod. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's just how it is. Got the original seals on it.
So for me, this takes me back because when I was 15, my dad said, hey, here's some keys. You're going to be 16. You need to go out there and get the car going. Yeah. And it was a 71 307. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Malibu, you know, had the vinyl top. And the quarter panels were rusted up to the lights, right?
Oh, yeah.
And all the brakes had to be replaced, the water pump, everything. The parts were in the trunk, he says. And I had to figure it out. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. Don't remove all the brakes and then try to put the ones on because you don't know they go back on. That was a valuable lesson. So. Well, Mike, the name of this show is Speed and Shine, and I can't think of anything that says it more than that. Walk us through what that is.
Well, basically that's a 440 Chrysler motor, bored and stroke, to 499 cubic inch with a blower shop 871 superchargers, a couple of 1100 CFM Holley Dominator carburetors, solid roller Isky cam, Ross 8-to-1 forged blower pistons, Bill Miller rods, Molnar stroker crankshaft. It's pretty much built for the drag strip. I keep it tuned to run on no lead premium fuel, so it's detuned a little bit, but it drives real good. I have very few problems with it.
Have you dynoed it?
I have not dynoed it, but from the speed last year when we had it to the track, it's right around 900 horsepower at the crankshaft with the pump gas tune-up.
Wow, incredible. And it's in a 73?
Yep, it's a 73 Cuda, original 340 car.
Right. Did you do all this yourself?
I did. I had the short block professionally built, but I did everything other than that. I bought the car just as a car body. It had already been back halved, but it didn't have any components on it at all. And I put it together, and I've been driving it ever since. And I just keep adding things to it.
Back half, explain what that is for the viewers.
That's pretty much when they cut all the rear section underneath the car out, the frame rails, fender wells, and they replace it with frame rails closer together, bigger fender wells so that you can put bigger tires on it.
Okay.
And they also shorten or narrow the rear end on it.
Okay, all right. That's how they get these big tires under there.
That is.
Right? And you got some stuff on the back here that's strictly to safety for racing, right?
Right. This here is mandatory at the drag strip, the battery cutoff. If you have your battery mounted in the trunk, so that's a necessary feature. These here, those are just, you could put your battery charger or your booster cables or something like that on there if you need be. When I got the car, they was already there. I've never really even used them.
Right.
I have hooked a battery charger up to it a couple times, but that's about it. A lot of drag cars have those on there. A lot of drag cars don't run a battery, so they charge them up in between runs.
Right, right. I see the kid, usually it's a young guy walking around with a charger on a cart or something, right?
Right.
Yeah. So walk us through some of the safety features you have in there.
Well, as far as safety features go, it's got, which is mandatory for a car that goes this quick, it's got a 5-point racing harness in it, a chrome moly roll cage. I just had it certified this spring for NHRA, and the chassis is rated for 160 miles an hour.
Wow.
When you go to the track, you have to pass tech for certain speeds that you go. I haven't actually gone anywhere near 160 miles an hour, but you never know. But it's all good to go. I just got to get it back to the track, try to have some fun with it. Something a little bit different about this car is I use a Chevy transmission. It's got a turbo 400 transmission in it. It's called an Ultra Bell, a conversion bell. You cut the stock bell housing off the transmission, and you bolt this bell housing on it, and they make different style bell housings where you can adapt different transmissions to different brand engines. And I did that.
Benefit is, for you, on this car, what's the benefit of using that transmission?
It was cheaper for me to have a transmission built to maintain the horsepower as opposed to a Chrysler torque plate.
Sure.
I got a good deal on it. The transmission's supposedly built for 1,500 horsepower. And I had a professional place do it called Rossler. They're quite a famous place. But I really love the transmission. It works really well.
Well, it's a beautiful car, and you've done a great job, and it must be a real blast to hold it to the floor and take off.
It's pretty fun to drive around and stuff, you know. Got to watch where you're going real careful with it, seeing around the blower, but It's quite drivable.
And I think I've seen you here before, and you've given people rides. I think people have asked for rides.
I have.
And
I do.
Right.
If they want to go for a ride in it. Some people turn me down. I'll offer them to go for a ride, and they don't want to get in it. To my surprise, you know.
People would be really surprised the difference between a 200 horsepower minivan and a 900 horsepower car. Right?